I got the horse right here. The name is Paul.
Hello, racing fans, and welcome back to another edition of Handicapper's Corner, brought to you by the Derby Bar and Grill. I'm Mike Eds, along with Drew Forster. We're going to go through the Sunday, May the 3rd races at Hastings. Got a great stakes race. The Jim Coleman Province is part of our 8-race program. Weather's supposed to be great. Should be a lot of fun.
We have a look at the 3-year-olds. First step towards the BC
Derby.
Oaks with the girls, and the first step toward the BC Derby with the boys. For all of those of you nursing your Kentucky Derby hangover.
Yeah, it should be a lot. Yeah, of course it shows tape prior to the Kentucky Derby, but it should be a lot of fun though. It's a good card we've assembled. Actually, field size was pretty good opening week. You know, a little light, but it's much better this weekend.
Yeah, it always hurts a little bit opening weekend.
Yeah.
They did a good job of getting together opening weekend. It was a very competitive card, but this weekend I think
you got a lot of holdouts going 6 panels.
Yeah,
a lot of guys are going to wait for the 6.5s. You know, some of them have route horses, and like 6 furlongs is a little bit too abrupt for them. Horses, and 6.5 is better, and you can tell that people are getting a little more interested. But next week it'll be really good, a lot better anyway when we go 6.5. Let's get into the Sunday opener.
Jump right into it.
I'll kick it out. $4,000 claimers going 6 panels. I've gone to the 6-horse Bubba Fizz. I think this horse has a tactical edge. I know the horse kind of fell off form towards the end of the year, but I think the horse probably needed a breather. Had been running in Phoenix. And just kept going
straight through,
and it's been working. Or he's been working well for Nancy Betts. I'll try this horse. Has speed, has not overtaxed in here. This is not a super tough $4,000 field. So I'll go to Bubba to win in the opener. I put the 3-horse Minstrel's Time, who's been money for the Grey Ross stable, and Craig McPherson. Horse always seems to just run well, hit the board half of its starts. He's a cheaper end horse, but he's usually pretty reliable.
Honest,
When he gets proper pace scenarios, he wins. When he doesn't, he runs 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or whatever. But he might get a good pace in here, and we'll see. But Minstrel's Time is live. And I put the 2-horse Grand Move for Ron Diot. And this horse has got good form in Portland, has some speed most importantly, which is important. And I love the works that's coming to Hastings. That's the one thing that did attract me to him. His Portland form was speed, but it wasn't great. He wasn't winning. He should be winning in a bunch of races at Portland, but I like the work since arriving. Howard Newell, who had a nice winner the other day with Regal Legacy. Rob Van Overshot gets the call, but I went 6, 3, and 2.
I got the same horses. I did put Minstrel's Time on top just because he's a bit more of an accomplished runner, and he's always salty. And the McPherson's there, or the connection, sorry, Craig McPherson, Richard Hamill. I put him on top. Bubba Fizz, horse you mentioned, I got him in the 2nd spot. I think those are the two ones that are going to be taking most money here. And Grand Move, the horse you mentioned, up from Portland for trainer Ron Diot. The last work at a minute flat looks pretty good in this field. I went 3, 6, and 2 in the first. On to the second, Fillies and Mares claiming 4,000. I went to Pat Jarvis's horse in here, number 4, Blue Willow Mina, 3-year-old filly by Storm Victory. 2 starts last year, both going 3.5, and got closer. Just ran second to Mighty Fraser last year, who won opening weekend.
That was a good company line to have Mighty Fraser.
Mighty Fraser in there, so that legitimizes this filly. And nice work, last work in 47 and 3 should be enough, I think, to do it in here. And Pat Jarvis does a very good job. Look for Pat's horses early on. The 2nd spot, I went with the first-time starter by Rosberg out of a nice mare they had here, Kirschgarten, named Blackbird. Dino Condolinos off to a good start with the Swift Thoroughbreds, and some of these don't have great form on them, so I'm going to put a first-time starter in there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Blackbird in the winner's circle for jockey Janine Smith. In the 3rd spot, I went with another first-time starter, John and Tammy Snow's Tulipia, if I'm pronouncing that right.
I'm glad you went with that first, because I was going to struggle with it.
Tulipia.
I think you're bang on.
As we mentioned in yesterday's show, the Snows have their own training center, so
John and his father Mel.
So some of these horses that may look like they only have a few works, they've been going a long time, and they'll have a good bottom into them, which I like for a first-time starter. 4-year-old filly by second in command, Tulipia. 4-3-1 for me in the second.
I've got the same 3, Drew, except I went to Blackbird on top.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I don't have a strong reason why to go there other than the connections are strong. They're off to another great start. Swift Thoroughbreds and Dino. And Janine does some work in the mornings for, Janine Smith does some work in the mornings for Dino. I've been on some horses, so it's not surprising he's going to give her a shot on a few horses, and he's got her on Blackbird here. And Blue Wilhelmina, I can see this horse, of course, winning, and this horse is good. Can't falter from last year. I mean, good excellent form.
Yeah.
And the one horse, Tulipia, as you mentioned, you're bang on. John's got a training center
She'll have a
or
good base
training
in her, yeah.
track at their farm with his father Mel, and the works are decent enough for a $4,000 maiden race. So I think this one will be ready. And Gabby Asensio does a lot of work for them in the mornings too, for John. So it's not surprising he gets a few calls as well.
Yeah.
So I went 3, 4, and 1, but I agree. I think we're on the right 3 horses in the second. On to the third race, $4,000 onwards at 2, going 6. I ended up on the 5 horse, So Legit.
Yep.
Pedro Alvarado rides for Dave Milburn. I think this horse came here in the fall last year. Ran in I thought a pretty. The non-2-4s at that time of year are far tougher than they are at the beginning of the year. It seems like the 4s are. You get the droppers then, the ones that are getting out of the 16s and the 8s, and the 4s kind of come up tough in the fall. And this horse probably been
even the 16 non-3 he ran in against Ambidextrous Duke and DJ Snow.
Yeah, those are tough, way tougher horse. The work tat has been excellent. Pedro, I just think this horse is going to the chooch and might not be caught. I put the Harold Barabys number 6, Waylia's Command. This horse has got good form too. Broke his maiden in his final start last year. Been training well for Hall of Famer Harold. And I put this one in for second, and I put the 2-horse Lord Galvic for Phil Hall. Another one off to a good start. Those are your 3 horses, I think. 5, 6, and 2. They're interchangeable, but those are the 3 I went to in the third.
I had the same horses. I did put Lord Galvic on top. Just he's a little bit more seasoned.
I can see it.
Yeah, Phil's horses have been running good to start the meet, and works. Got a nice solid work pattern under him. And as you mentioned, Phil gets on his own horses. They've been running well. Richard Hamill takes the call. I got Lord Galvic on top. I put Wiley Command, Harold Barabys' horse in the second spot, and So Legit in the third spot. The reasons you mentioned. I think those are the horses. I just jumbled them around a little bit from you have. I went 2, 6, 5, but in any order, I think those are the 3. In a full field of 10.
2 stakes coming up now.
The girls. We jump off with the girls first. Ross McLeod going 6.5 for 3-year-old fillies. First step towards BC Oaks. I went to the 3 Finalities Charmer. Just one hiccup last year. Got beaten nose by Quatracat in the debutante. Other than that, undefeated. 4 starts, 3 wins, and only got beaten nose in that one. Nice works this year. 59-2, 36-1. Been working right along for Top Connections, Craig McPherson and Richard Hamill. I put number 2, Ambleside Park. I went with the 2 Dave Forster runners in second and third spot. Ambleside Park, this is probably a little bit short for her. She is going to want to go longer, but she's very well bred, daughter of Capilano, who's had a lot of good runners here. And Ambleside Park showed up when it counted last year in the fantasy. Antonio Reyes, interesting to see him take the call on Ambleside Park. Got him in the second spot. And the third spot, Cameron Hill's Susan's Day, a private purchase off Owen Hardy. They bought this filly out of Tampa Bay where she broke her maiden to Prairie Meadows. Then they thought enough of her. They ran her in the Arlington Lassie at Arlington Park in Chicago. Then she went to Churchill, then to Tampa. The race 2 back at Tampa was a very good race. Got beat 3 lengths, got a 63 buyer for it, and her work tab has been very good since arriving here. And as Mike mentioned to me, before I'd seen her work, really light on her feet, nice light, carries
nice
herself
mover.
easy.
She handles this track beautifully.
Yeah, so I got Susan Stay in the third spot, but she could be quick enough and she could be gone. But I got her in the third spot. I went 3, 5, 6.
Yeah, I remember I was talking about it a couple weeks ago.
I hadn't
Susan
seen
Day,
her yet,
and I've seen her in the mornings, and she looks brilliant. She skips along. She handles our 5/8 of a mile track well. And when I seen her in the entry, I didn't know where your dad was going to run her.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where she'd show up either.
She's nice. I mean, this stake came up, nice, but not crazy tough.
Yeah.
And I took her to win it. I'm going to try Susan's Day. Been impressed with what I've seen. She goes on the Lasix program for the first time. Her works, as I mentioned, after talking to you about her, they're very good. She's finishing strong in her work. She looks great. Mark Buchanan's been on the horse for the last couple of works. And this filly's strong. She looks great.
Speaking of guys off to a good start, Mark Buchanan.
I know he's almost 50%. Yeah. Of course, Finalities Charmer is live. I mean, she's the Hastings horse that had done well last year running against. You kind of get running against the same horses, and sometimes you got to look out of the box. And maybe I'm wrong with Susan's Day, but I'm not 100% sure I am wrong, because I think she's pretty quality. And I'm leaving Ambleside Park out, which might be a mistake. Her credentials are solid.
Short, yeah.
Her credentials are solid. She's a nice filly. She could be the Oaks winner. But I mean, today it's 6.5 furlongs. Is that her best distance? And that's the only reason I'm just don't have her in the top 3. I put Susan's Day over the 3 Finalities Charmer, your Sadie Democracy winner last year, and Quatracat, another stake winner. in for second, or for third, pardon me. So I went 6, 3, and 4, but a very good renewal of the Ross McLeod. Small field, but quality field.
Yeah.
On to the fifth race, some $8,000 older horses going 6 panels. Got a big bunch of them signed on here. I went to the speedy number 9, Lookout Dubai, and I hope that he can clear from his outside gate. He is very fast. It is only 6. So it is a shorter run to the first turn, which might present some problems for Lookout Dubai, but I think this horse is good.
That worried me a couple of these races. You get the 9 or 10 hole. That's not ideal going 6 furlongs.
This Mark Buchanan can get a horse out of the latch. Like he's like Pedro. Pedro's like super good at it. But this Lookout Dubai might be able to get out there and clear. And if he can, I think he's going to be really tough. Put the 6th horse, I Don't Roll on Chabos, in for second.
One of the better named horses here at
Yes,
Hastings.
Big Lebowski.
That's right.
The Big Lebowski movie. But I Don't Roll on Chabos. Needed to be freshened up. He was, and I just think the horse has been working well. Got a little bit of back class. Just a nice, solid racehorse. This horse comes to run all the time.
Yeah, he does.
Cool horse that you can rely on. You like sticking with horses you can kind of rely on, and he is reliable. Dude. And I put the 5 horse Burnaby Baron for Praven Sorensen, another friend of the Derby, and Phil Hall. This horse has been running against some better company, against straight 3-year-olds last year, but he's in against older horses, but still a horse. It's I think he's got more to give, and his works have been very good. So I went 9, 6, and 5. I just think there's an edge to Lookout Dubai because of his pace presence.
Yeah. I got Lookout Dubai in there. I went to London. Dino Condolinios' horse in here. 8 out of 10, he's been in the money, so he's always right there. His last race, he ran for 8. He won that. He actually ended the year last year with a couple of wins, and I just think he fits at this level. They can run him protected for 8,000, and they do. And Reyes takes the call for Dino, and as we mentioned a few times, Dino's off to a very good start. This horse is just a solid horse at this level. Anytime he was in for 16, 12, 5, 8, he's very competitive. And because he ran for 8 last year, he can run for 8 protected his first start this year. And they slot him in for 8, and I think he's tough in here. Lookout Dubai, as you mentioned, probably the speed of the race. He's just to London's outside. I got him in the 2nd spot, and he could take him a long way. He's got good speed.
He's got no room for error, though, from the 9 rows. He needs to break, and if he doesn't,
if something happens,
then
he's going to be in a tough
the
spot.
one hung 3 wide. He's not known to be brave.
He's going to be up against it. If he gets the lead, he's going to be dangerous. So, and the 3rd spot, I went to number 4, Brother Chunky, another Anita Bolton, Pedro Alvarado horse. Good work. His last prep, minute flat. That's good for these kind of horses. I like Brother Chunky in the 3rd spot. I went 8, 9, and 4 in the 5th.
Good race here. Good race.
Another good race.
Co-feature. Another co-feature. Got a great card.
Optional 35 for older boys. I went to the 4. Taylor's Deal, a horse that's done so little wrong in his not short career. He is 6 now, but lightly raced. He's only made 13 starts. Obviously, he has had a bit of soundness issues throughout his career.
He's got 211 for him on there.
But exactly. But every time he runs, he brings his A game. Just won a good one down at Golden Gate. Come back, just got beat a couple lengths. But those races are extremely tough. And if he runs his race, catch him to win it. Nice work the other day, nice prep in the slop, 46 flat. The 2nd spot, I went to another old trier, Senior Rojo, winner of 400 and almost 50,000, perennial favorite here at Hastings Park. It is short for him, but he usually runs good fresh. If you go back and look at his first race last year, just got beat 2 lengths by Title Contender and Twist Grips. So he can run good fresh. It was a good race in the George Royal. Yes. So he can run good fresh, and he's down near the rail. He loves to be on the rail. So
he leans on that thing.
He does. He's about that far off it.
And he doesn't need much room to get through a hole. He just needs to be between.
He doesn't get shy. Yeah, he doesn't get shy on the rail. So he's going to be on the rail. And if it opens up for him, I think he could get up for 2nd. And the 3rd spot, another day for horse, Go for Guinness. One with very good speed. His last race was the Classic, the BC Cup Classic last year. That was going a mile and 1/8, and the fractions were blistering.
Yeah, he was the best horse.
Yeah, he ran a huge race that day.
And Wildcat got the money. Wildcat's a cool horse. This horse ran a huge race.
That was a huge race. Yeah, he went really quick.
Beat late
and just got weary down the stretch and got caught late. But anything close to that effort today could put him in the winner's circle. I went 4, 2, and 7.
Yeah, I agree with you. Taylor's Deal. He either wins or is maybe last. I don't know what.
Yeah.
He's in for 35,000, and but he's such a classy old horse.
He's a cool boy.
He's a nice horse, and if he runs his A game, everyone's running for 2nd. I don't know if his A game is going to surface, but his B game, everyone could be running
probably
for
do it,
second.
yeah.
And he's just a nice horse. Go for Guinness is a quality horse too. And this horse can sprint too. This is 6.5, which helps Go for Guinness, I think.
Does help those guys a
bit,
little
because there's a little more of a run to the turn when you have post position number 7. Does have some speed to him. He will be in some position. And Antonio Reyes rides. I know he's been working well in the mornings. He's a nice quality horse, Go for Guinness, and looks like he's in a good spot. It's unfortunate he drew against Taylor Steele. You wouldn't expect to see Taylor Steele come out of the box in an optional 35. No, where's the 2 other than? So that was kind of unfortunate. I put the 1 horse Brass and Gold in for third. He's a former BC Cup Retta Cup Classic winner. Probably better going a little farther, but he does have some recent racing. He's had a little gaps in his form. He hasn't been seen at Hastings since 2013, but he has had the 1 race last year in 2014. But he's been running this spring at Turf Paradise, and he does have some races under a little conditioning into him.
That helps the race fit,
And he's in for 35. He gets the rail. Pedro was on him for his workout there in 50 flats, so he's been familiarized with him. So I put him in for third. But Taylor Steele is your horse to beat. I went 4, 7, and 1. On to the 7th and co-feature event, the Jim Coleman Province, named, of course, after the Hall of Fame great writer, Province writer. Great hoof prints on my heart was the book he wrote.
Great,
just a
great sports writer, but a great horse racing
sports,
writer,
but he loved horse racing as well, and it's great that we still honor Jim Coleman. I was at the track quite often, got to see him quite a bit up in the press room at Hastings. But
chomping on a cigar.
Yeah, nine horses signed on, going 6.5 furlongs, and I ended up on the 3 horse Cedarburg. I'm not sold on any. This race is another John
Gunther
to cop
bred,
out, but I mean, this is a tough race.
I know. It's just like you can make
waffle, but
make a case for a lot of these.
Cedarburg is undefeated, working well. David Lopez would have the choice of the 2 runners out of the Troy Taylor barn. Bandolero, the 6 horse, has been working well also, and it has a nice form. But he's going to go to Cedarburg. Hasn't been seen since BC Cup Day, when easily bested a group of 2-year-olds. But this is tough. This is open company, or tougher. But I just like the way he's been working, and I try him to win it. Put the 2 horse Merlot in for second. This horse had a great season last year for Dino. Broke his maiden in his second start. Came back to run second behind Horse of the Year, Lord Rosberg. Yeah. BC bred Horse of the Year, I should say. Of course, Alert Bay was the Open Horse of the Year. But Merlot ran well in the Jack Diamond, and he's been training beautifully for his return. Gets Antonio Reyes. We're hoping Amadeo Perez is going to surface. He's having some immigration issues, but paperwork, it sounds like it's almost done, and it might be a week or 2. Yeah. Just a little update on Amadeo Perez. Last year, so
we are expecting him.
We are expecting him. He is in the process of getting here, but as anyone knows, immigration sometimes you got to work at their speed, not the speed you want it to.
Not an exact science.
No, but Merlot will get Antonio Reyes, and this horse is live. And I put the 9 horse Cats on Fire for Barb Heads. My wife, Russ Bennett, owned. This horse has won 2 races for Tim McKenna down at Golden Gate. I just think there's going to be a lot of speed in this race. I want someone coming from off of it to get a piece of it anyway. He is likely at too short of a distance at 6.5 furlong, but he's racing fit. He's handled the track in his work here at Hastings.
And when he ran short, he was not embarrassed at all.
Like I know, that was a 111. They went 24 flat the last quarter, and he was running at it. You know, and it was like, that's an impressive move to the last quarter, because they weren't rocking and rolling at Golden Gate in that race, and he still made up a pile of ground. He did, he's moving from the synthetic track to the dirt, but he seems to have handled it well so far. But I see a lot of collisions perhaps on the head end.
When he did run on a dirt track too at Fresno, he won by 7. He went
easy, going longer. But I think maybe his better races will be going longer, but who knows? He's fit. There could be a pace. He will be 15-1. He might be worth a look, and that's all. I've gone 3, 2, and 9.
I got the same horses. I did put Merlot on top. Throughout that first race, he didn't get much of a chance in that race against Party Pooper, so just toss that. Come back, won a maiden special weight impressively with it in a 9-horse field, and stalked well, made a nice move, and then as you mentioned, second behind Lord Rosberg in the Jack Diamond Futurity. Out of stakes winning mare Napa by Rosberg. A lot of things to like. Antonio Reyes, Dino Connolly with Swift Thoroughbreds. Going well, been training well up to this, and I like Merlot. I got Cedarburg in the second spot, an obvious choice, as you mentioned, the John Gunther bred Cedarburg for North American Thoroughbreds.
The Rosberg.
Another Rosberg, yeah, we got the Rosberg Exacta. Another one that didn't do anything wrong, right? Just broke his maiden for 25, came back and won the stake under Mario, and shows up here after working smartly. And I got the same horse, Cat's on Fire in the third spot, as you mentioned, been with Tim McKenna down at Golden Gate. And throw that 1/4, and his form looks pretty shiny, right? 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds. He's obviously got some talent. Those allowance 40 races down there that he got beat a half in and then won by 3, those are not easy. You have a lot of tough horses in there out of like the
they come out of
Hollendorfer and the
right.
Speck
No, they're
and
dirty
those
tough
guys.
races. Those starter 40s, and we should touch on briefly like Aditya, who's claimed
I
for
was gonna say
35.
Aditya,
This is a nice horse.
worked
It's
in
been
34
working
and
well.
4 the other day.
Bluegrass Angus went down to Gulfstream to run in the spectacular bid. I mean, this is a quality horse that ran.
Sedin was very hyped here last year. Had
This
the
is
one
a good
win and
race.
came back.
There's some nice. Oh, Derek had a good season last year. Dealership was. He won by a pile of lengths in his lone start, and it was for maiden 25. But there's some quality young horses here at Hastings, which is kind of neat. But Bluegrass Angus is an interesting one that they thought enough of Chad Joe's Copperwater Thoroughbred Company to send the horse down to Florida, try and compete in the bigs, because he was impressive breaking his maiden here last fall. But it's nice to see him back in town. But a very good renewal of the Jim Coleman
Nice work there,
Province.
59 and 2.
I know we've gone with the 239, not in the same order, but I mean this is a race where there's a lot. Another
make a case for
cop-out,
everybody,
but these are tough races. I talked to Randy Golding, the Daily Racing Forum correspondent at the track this morning, and he says, "Did you have as much trouble as I did handicapping the weekend's car, like both days, Saturday, Sunday?" I said, "Yeah. I mean, these are tough races, and it's it's great to see nice big fields with some some competitiveness." Let's go into the 8th and final. Got some $16,000 non-winners at 2 lifetime, going 6 furlongs to close out the weekend's card. Once again, a big field of 10.
Yep.
I've gone to the 2-horse Brackendale, returns to Hastings. He actually was training at Hastings, never ran at Hastings, was in Southern California with Rob Gilker. I like Brackendale, Pedro Alvarado rides, good work, Tab. He's aggressively spotted in a non-2 for 60, not aggressively, but nicely spotted.
Yeah.
The condition works out nicely for him. And I'll try him to win it. I put the 1 DJ Snow, who's been running in some pretty good horses and some tough allowance races last year before ending up in the claiming ranks at the end of the year, but he ran into some good ones there too. Ambidextrous Duke and a wild 116 and change. So no excuse, no shame in running second that day. But I think this horse is live. And the 10-horse Rebus I threw in for third, but Laundered Money has run well this year. Spirit River's another one, and just the Irish Romeo I left off. This is a there's some nice horse again. Another tough, another skullbuster.
I went with Irish Romeo, horse you just mentioned. Look at who he's run against last year. Tracker, Hope Seeker, Title Contender, Twist Grips, Lauren 500. He
quality horse. Way tougher horses than what he's facing.
Yeah, he was running against some tough horses. The works look good. I like the way Pat Jarvis trains her horses. She has hers ready to run. She does a very good job.
Awesome.
I think a very underrated trainer here is Pat Jarvis. So I went with 3 Irish Romeo. I put the 7 Peyton's Best in for second. Another one who was running against tough horses. He's a neat horse. I like Peyton's Best. He always runs big races. Yeah, he's very consistent. Nice 47 prep for this one. First out of 38. His final prep for this race. He gets Keyshawn Bell-Gobin. And Peyton's Best is a hard trier, street fighter kind of horse. He's always into it.
He's a pro.
Yeah, he is. And one you just mentioned, Rebus. Horse that gets favored in a lot of his races. 2 seconds of his last 3 starts. The one where he ran 5th, he only got beat 5 lengths by Bear Rock and Roll, Gamby, Hockley. And another one facing tough horses. What I don't like about him is he's in the 10 hole.
That's the
and
tough
this is a
part.
6 furlong race. And he doesn't have, I don't know if he has enough speed to make the lead here.
That was my only problem. I know Pat and Tony come out to the track a lot, the Hepburns that own this horse, and just a tough post assignment.
Yeah, the 10 hole is not
horse,
easy.
Good enough to win?
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
10 hole, going 6, might be a bit of might cause a bit of a nuisance for him. And but we'll see. But hopefully he can get him out of the. If
he gets a good trip
into a decent position going into the first turn.
That's the reason I didn't put him higher, just because of the 10. That'll do it for our analysis of the 8-race card on Sunday, May 3rd at Hastings Park. Up next will be our picks on screen. Mike, as always, there you go. You're up first.
Back in race number 1, I went to the 6, Above Viz. 6-3-2 for me in the opener, 3-4-1 in the second with the firster, number 3, Blackbird. Race number 3, I went to the 5, So Legit. I'm going to go 5, 6, and 2. To close out the early win 4, I went to the 6 horse, Susan's Day, over the 3, Finality's Charmer, and 4 Quatre Cats, our first stakes race of the day. In the 5th race, I went to the 9, the Speedy Lookout Dubai. Hopefully he can overcome the tough draw. I went 9, 6, and 5. In race number 6, I went to Taylor's Deal, taking a class drop in for 35,000. I went 4, 7, and 1. In the 7th race, the Jim Coleman Province, I went to the 3 Cedarburg over the 2 Merlot and the 9 Cats on Fire. But that will be a barn burner of a race. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's a competitive event. And then the 8th and final, I went to the 2 Brackendale over the 1 DJ Snow and the 10 Rebus.
Up next will be my picks. There we go. In the first, I went to the 3 Minstrel's Time over the 6 and the 2. In the second, I went to the 4 Blue Wilhelmina over the 3 and the 1. In the third, I went to the 2 Lord Gallivic over 6 and 5. In the fourth, the Philly Stake, I went to the 3 Finality's Charmer over the 5 Ambleside Park and the 6 Susan's Day. In the fifth, I went to the 8 London over the 9 and the 4. In the 6th, the optional 35, I went to the 4 Taylor's Deal over Senior Rojo and Go for Guinness. In the 7th, the Jim Coleman Province, I went to the 2 Merlot over the 3 Cedarburg and the 9 Cats on Fire. And then I capped the 8th. I went to number 3 Irish Romeo over the 7 and the 10.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner. We look forward to seeing everyone next weekend. We have racing resumes on Saturday and Sunday. Once again, both days for the May 9th and 10th programs will be at 150. Once again, it'll probably be a 7-race program on the Saturday and an 8-race program on the Sunday. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you can't make it out to the track on Sunday, please do come down here to the Derby Bar and Grill. There'll be lots going on. Won't be as busy as on Saturday, but still be rocking in here. And of course, Hastings will be on the big screen.
Hopefully, we have some beer and bourbon left. On Sunday.
They may be running out of booze after Saturday, but I'm sure they'll.
We're well
You've
stocked.
ordered accordingly. On behalf of Drew, thanks everyone for tuning in to Handicapper's Corner, and we'll see you next time here at the Derby Bar and Grill.